Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Tony's Fireside Chat, and today is February 25th, 2021. And today I'm really proud to have a guest on here, Jim Kruse. Welcome to the podcast, Jim.
Thank you, Tony. We've communicated back and forth for a couple of years in a Facebook group and then the clubhouse. It's kind of interesting how now we're talking live versus just writing posts and making comments. So this will be exciting to have a chat with you today.
Oh, I'm excited as well. Jim, tell us really about your background and what got you to where you are today.
Well, my background has been selling consumer goods since 1978. I just turned 65, last Friday. So I've been in the business for a few years, to say the least. My first entry into selling consumer goods was retail sales at an audio store called Audio Warehouse. And it kind of was, I caught the bug. It was fun to do. That particular organization only lasted for about a year and a half, and all of our managers and salespeople, we all had to go find a job. And since we were a high volume store, a lot of the manufacturer rep agencies were coming in, talking to us all the time, and I was able to get a job being a rep. I did that for about 3.5 years with a rep group, and then I broke off on my own. The rep business was a great business back in the 80s, early 90s, but as everything in the world changes in the sense consolidation, even with the reps, because you had fewer retailers to sell. There were the manufacturers were looking at cutting costs. So that was my rep. I did that for 15 years and had great experience working with big box retailers, but with some large manufacturers. Great business. Then I got into manufacturing, and it was back in mid 90s. Mm-hmm. We had a customer called Target.
Target I think I've heard of them.
They were having a supply problem with a particular product, and we were really good friends with the buyer. We were selling him other things, and he says, "Hey," and I had a partner back then. He says, "You guys should take a look at seeing if you can manufacture these items for us." Well, we kind of said, "Let's take a look at it." We did. So we operated a manufacturing business for 5 years, and then I sold that off in 2000. So then comes about, we were going to the trade shows. Consumer Electronics Show was the big trade show that we've always attended. And we stopped by a booth, and this booth was very interesting. They had some very nice stuff. They were from Thailand. Long story short, 2 weeks later, I'm on a plane going to Bangkok to meet them. And that whole thing turned into be our entree into direct importing for Target, for Walmart, for Best Buy, for other people, because they had such a large presence in Thailand, and they had so many different resources. They were a manufacturer, but they were also a trading company. So that was, those were some really good days. I like the idea of contract manufacturing, doing business on a letter of credit. Your money is not at stake, the customer's money's at stake. Then then Walmart contacted us. They had a same situation where they were having supply issues. Mm-hmm. And they said, "Hey, can you do this?" Well, we were already importing. I jump on a plane again. Now I go to Ningbo, China, and located the largest manufacturer of this product in Ningbo, cut the deal there. We did the private label for Walmart for like 8 years. Very good run. It was excellent business. Then they decided to go in a different direction. Nothing lasts forever. So back in about 2009, I had a business partner then. We decided to get into the gift industry. because a good friend of mine was doing some really substantial business with hospital gift shops, college bookstores, the boutiques. So basically what we did was that he had designs, we licensed his designs, and we came up with a line of stationery. Mm-hmm. And, within a year, we had that gift business, and this is at wholesale, not retail. We were doing over $1 million. Margins were really good. So that business progressed until about 2016, and I made an exit with him. Well, partnerships are a great thing. I've been married to one lady for my entire life, but I've had 3 partners in business. It's like going through a divorce. They don't last forever. So, it's life. It's life. And if you do them right, the exit is less painful if you have buy-sell agreements. So I decided in 2016 to kind of look at this Amazon business. And the Amazon business was interesting, but I didn't know if there was an exit strategy if you built an Amazon business and to sell it. So I did my research and I found out, yes, there was a market. I looked at the multiples. They weren't great, but they weren't bad. So I kind of jumped into the Amazon business. So that's kind of the history. And I have since exited. I have sold the Amazon business, which is fine. I'm kind of in between gigs right now. I'm helping some people, mentoring, coaching. It's one of those things that I like, helping people that have the right mindset and want to better their life, because you can do a lot of things in life, but helping people, I think, is very rewarding to me.
No, I agree. Since today's topic is more about, marketing and strategies for 2021, how is it working with big box stores today? Is that still possible for smaller entrepreneurs?
It's always possible. My preference between, say, Walmart and Target, I'll go to Walmart any day of the week versus Target. And Target's in my backyard. I live in Minneapolis. Walmart, it's a Southern attitude. They also understand that the supplier needs to make a profit, because if they can't have a supply, they don't make sales. Where Target is a little bit more selfish. Did a lot of business with Target, but if you gave me 2 choices saying, hey, I want you to go to one or the other, I would jump on the plane and go down to Bentonville. Mm-hmm. So yes, there is opportunities. I worked with a lady just recently, and she's a part of that Facebook group that we're in. And she has a very successful Amazon business, and she wanted to get into Walmart. So we were going back and forth, and I kind of guided her along, and she was able to crack the nut. So, and her business is probably less than 2 years old.
Yeah. So I think I know who you're talking about. And that's great to see that, there's still room and opportunities out there. What are you seeing in terms of Amazon these days, especially for as we move forward?
I think in Amazon, it's endless possibilities. I think the arbitrage business is very difficult. I've never been in that business, but I think it's becoming more difficult. The person that I sold my Amazon business to is he did wholesale, and he had a very he's still doing it, very successful, but he had a background again in a category, so he had contacts, knowledge. So I think the wholesale is still very viable, but you have to go out there and meet the right people and strike the right deals with those people. Then it comes to people like you and I that have done private label, huge opportunity. But, and I use that word but, you have to do it right. Putting a logo or a brand name on a box, that's not private labeling. So there's huge opportunities. And I believe the people that want to go out, lay out their game plan. Okay, I want to be in this category. I found an item. What are the other items that I can sell in that category? And you got to do a lot of work in the sense, You're going to have to probably do some research, see if you can trademark it, and if these items, if there's any patents. You just want to make sure you have your I's dotted, T's crossed, because there's a lot of eyeballs on Amazon. If someone sees that you have a product that they have a patent on, that could be a disaster for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One thing I remember you told me, which I thought was very, I think it was you, I'm going to keep an eye out for that on my own policy, was the fact that one time you got sued for patent infringement, but it was covered by your insurance policy. So, and I'm thinking, hey, does my insurance policy cover that or not? So I'm going to find out.
Well, you should check. It was for trade dress infringement. Okay. And what that means, retail packaging. And what that whole story goes back to Target. They were using a supplier and they were very inconsistent. We knew the supplier. When we went into manufacturing in the US, we came up with packaging similar, but not identical. But this manufacturer, the owner had a lot of money. And he thought he was going to basically, put us out of business with suing us.
Yeah.
Thank God the insurance company covered it. Just to get to the hearing, Tony, was $60,000.
Wow. Wow.
The good thing is the judge did a summary judgment in our favor, and it went away. One other thing on patents. This particular product line we were doing, the second best selling item we had, we sold like 500,000 units in 2 years. And at that time we were selling Best Buy, Target. We were not selling Walmart, but we were selling a lot of other people out there. We get a fax. Now this is back in like 98 from a law firm saying, we represent a client and they have a utility patent on a product that you're selling in the market. The one nice thing is that we kept some records of lines that we represented.
Okay.
And the literature was dated such, it was predated from when they actually had the patent assigned to them. We basically sent the lawyer that literature, never heard from him again. So there's a lot of people, what I say is there's a lot of people that have patents out there. And these guys, they were entitled to it, but their patent was basically invalid because they copied prior art out there, but the patent office doesn't do a 100% job always.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. One of in terms of the trends I've noticed is a year ago, things have changed. Last year at this time, I had factories reaching out to me in China. They had canceled orders and they were willing to do anything to get your business. I was able to negotiate financing deals with people I've never even dealt with before. And you come back a year later, things have changed dramatically. We're seeing, price increases across the board, like I talked about, you know what I mean? Shipping prices in particular going through the roof. And what are you seeing out there? Because, this can really put a big squeeze on margins.
Pricing is going up. And what you need to probably take a look at alternative countries to produce a product. When I was importing, we were doing business out of Thailand, which is very expensive, but the quality is excellent. Mm-hmm. We did a lot of business out of Vietnam, but they didn't have the infrastructure that, say, China did. And we also did business out of Taiwan. Never did business out of Korea. You have to kind of look at the product category you're in, and some of it was duty related. We were in the back to school business, and we had some products that had anti-dumping duty, meaning 150% duty, if we were sourcing it out of China or India. So we looked at Taiwan, and we were able to have it produced there. Quality was good. So you have to have your options open when it comes to sourcing. I think what is happening, I have some really good friends in Hong Kong that are my sourcing guys. I've dealt with them since 2001. And they're saying, yeah, prices are going up, raw material. The one thing that you have to always look at, if you're, say, injection molded product, if petroleum's going up, the resin's going up. Mm-hmm. You have to look at all the components that goes into manufacturing product. Labor, right now, usually after the Chinese New Year, a lot of the factories have to go out and recruit new people, and they may have to pay more than what they had paid previously. And also the currency, you always have the financial component with the dollar valuation. It's all kind of relative, because if all of us are paying more, we just have to get smarter on how we source goods, and can we take some costs out? I'll give you an example. We were in a very difficult situation on a high volume item, a lot of molded parts in it. Mm-hmm. And we had a competitor always undercutting our price. And we knew the manufacturer was our manufacturer. We went to them and saying, how can you be offering a price? He said, well, they came back to us. They didn't want virgin resin used on the molded product. They would accept regrind. And regrind, basically what it is that any rejected product, they just basically put in a hopper, grind it up, mm-hmm. and then they feed it through the presses again. The quality of the resin is not as good as a virgin resin, but it saves money. So you have to look at alternatives that way, especially in a competitive market out there.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. This year we started doing, or just started with last year, a lot more business in other countries for textiles, India, Pakistan. What I've noticed was we have a lot of vendors we've dealt with that are Chinese, and their strength is really Chinese sort of suppliers. And they can't sort of, in terms of wholesalers and stuff, go outside of their own comfort zone. You know what I mean? And I think you're right. It's just about finding the best opportunities wherever they are.
Exactly, because what you said about people in mainland China, they're kind of stuck in mainland China. The people in Thailand, I had a situation where there was the typhoons went through, and it was a big program that we had for Target, and real big program. The factory got flooded, and I ordered 30 containers of a product.
Oh my God.
And I'm on the, typing emails, I'm in a panic. The people in Thailand were able to go over to Vietnam, find a resource. We were 2 weeks late in delivering it, but they were more willing. And this is 10 years ago. I mean, I had 30 containers. It got done, but in China, if they would only stay in China. Mm-hmm. But I will tell you, the Chinese are wonderful people, because I had to deal with Walmart, where it was 30,000 gift boxes. It was for a Christmas promotion. The factory burnt down the Thursday before Labor Day. And we were supposed to deliver in the middle of September, 30,000 of these gift boxes. They were made out of wood. My guy, Joe, actually faxes me the news article and stuff like that. He says, we're going to find another factory. Well, this factory, it's amazing, the people in China. Mm-hmm. They were up and running with a friend's factory basically 8 days later. Again, we were about 10 days late. So my hat's off to all the people in Asia. When it comes to order, they are resourceful. They don't sit on their hands. They'll get it done.
Let me ask you this. Like, what type of software, if any, do you use software to help you speed up and be more efficient?
Yeah, I use a lot of spreadsheets just because I'm comfortable there. Mm-hmm. I've made a lot of elaborate spreadsheets over the years. And then when example, all my product goes into a third-party warehouse. I never shipped anything direct into Amazon. And the reason for that is because I did sell product off Amazon, and I didn't want to go through Amazon for fulfillment. I have a very good relationship with the people in Nashville, mm-hmm. and it's a comfort level. So what I would do is that I basically worked with them over the years, because when I was involved with the gift business, we put together some templates with their software, and it worked real well. Now, the software for automation, there's really nothing specific out there that I did use. I did use Inventory Lab, which was pretty good because they would do a pull off of Amazon, and it was good information. And I think it was like $50 a month. It wasn't outrageous. But a lot of it is knowing what you need to make decisions, and just, I had a routine. You know, on Mondays, I would look at inventory, send replenishment orders down to Nashville, have them get them shipped out to Amazon. Tuesday and Wednesday, I'd work on PPC. So I kind of scheduled out my time where I try to focus on things. And in the meantime, yeah, I was making some new items, and that was interruptions, but I tried to make certain days to do certain things.
A lot of people always talk about doubling down on your strength and outsourcing the stuff that you don't like. And I was wondering how, like we had discussed this briefly before, how big is your team, or are you able to actually do everything yourself?
Well, when I had the Amazon business, I had my daughter working with me.
Yeah.
She really liked doing all the stuff that I didn't like doing, like all the reconciliation of inventory off of Amazon, all the stuff that drives me crazy. So, to answer your question, there was just two of us, but we're doing a very nice business. And I think since I knew what my strengths were, my strengths are in numbers, but also in identifying items. My weakness is copywriting. I'm not a photographer. Advertising. You have to job those things out because you have to have knowledge of it, but why try to spin your wheel when a photographer, commercial photographer, can knock out, say, 8 good images like in 2 hours?
Yeah.
Where it'd take me probably 2 weeks and they wouldn't be good.
No, it totally makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, and the whole thing is that the quality is the quality is higher than what I can produce.
Let me ask you this, and I think you kind of transitioned into the ecom space around the same time as I did. What do you find is the biggest sort of differences when you're dealing with the D2C, kind of market, ecom versus when we're dealing with big box stores and bricks and mortar?
Probably customer satisfaction. Since people are communicating with you via messaging, sometimes the messaging is a little bit more direct than, when you're dealing with the big box, if we were between the 3 to 5% on defective, we were good. Because of the 3 to 5, probably 50% was good product. Customer just wanted to return it.
Yeah.
So the big thing with the D2C is giving them probably 150% customer service. And I learned that years ago when I was selling stereo equipment. Someone comes in with the defective and you ask, how can we make this right for you? Usually what they're going to ask you is less than what you were willing to do for them. They walk away with a smile, you kept the sale, and life goes on.
Wow, no, that's great. And finally, in terms of last question I want to ask you is, what kind of advice would you give to new entrepreneurs that are looking to get into the space? Is it too crowded, or can they all be as successful as well?
They can be successful. I think they need to pace themselves. Watch a lot of YouTubes. You can learn a lot there, but also create a plan. I always found when I start writing things down on a piece of paper, and you're going to revise it, you're going to lay out your plan, you're going to learn more. It's really kind of planning to become a business person, an entrepreneur, and the entrepreneur is a very lonely world. It's yourself.
It's
yourself.
Yeah, you know what? I was just thinking the same thing. The reason I was a reluctant entrepreneur is, I wanted that sense of companionship. You know what I mean? And that's it's a lonely world. But it's once you learn to love what you do, it can be so rewarding.
Exactly. And there's plenty of opportunity out there. I mean, everything is changing so quickly. And, a lot of people want to be running with that change real fast. I'm the type of guy, I'm going to look at what sold 5 years ago really well, and what will probably sell the next 5 years real well. I kind of look at those types of categories because I find the opportunity is huge, lower risk, and in many cases, you can improve upon what's being done because a lot of people at manufacturing or seller level, they kind of forget about those items. So some of those things need to be freshened up. You can put your own twist on it.
Well, Jim, I want to thank you very much for appearing on the podcast today, and what's the best way to reach you if anybody wants to reach out?
Tony, I just set up an Instagram account and it was 2 days ago. I got the Facebook, the Instagram. So it's Jim Kruse 56 Instagram, or they can email me at Kruse Jim, Kruse Jim @gmail.
Perfect. Thank you.